shouldn't like this game as much as I do. I'm Couch Coop, and this is Exoprimal review of a new hefty patch that came through 16th of August. This game is stuffed full of microtransactions, it's online only, there's no single player content, but it's from Capcom. They don't do things by halves, and this was a game that really made an impact on its initial viewing. Links for that review in comments and annotated. Why have I chosen to review this patch? Well, we've got these things called alpha suits. This is amazing. It's like souped up versions of all of the main characters. They can be microed to open up immediately, but each one comes with a rank behind it that you've opened up on its original standard form. And the game is coming along with a lot more loot and different items and skins available. The war chest has just had a complete rework.
I've been out in that jungle for 4 bloody hours.
We're also looking at some different variants on certain boss types, so there is quite a lot of content to be looked at here. Let's go through some of these alpha suits, and I will say something now. Capcom have got some of the best armor artists in-house, I think, because Monster Hunter in the series, anything that they have sort of a rank up look to it, just impeccable design. Absolutely love all of this stuff. So without having to grind or separate with some real world money, you can test these suits out in the firing range, which I totally recommend, and you can see some of the nuance and minutiae that is changed with that loadout. I main as Deadeye, which is like the default vanilla starter character, and I've migrated over to Bandit, but I wanted to have a little look at some of the other designs. This is a pan on the mouse, man. I can't believe how awful mouse is on a smooth pan. I'm going to be using it for some of this video footage, so hold on to your hats. The ranking setup for opening these alpha suits is going to be something along the lines of everybody on that particular team having that applicable rank, because on a PvE front there is a massive advantage, but even more so on a PvP front. So I've played a few games and not come across an alpha suit if no one else on the team possesses one. I also haven't opened a single alpha suit to actually play in real game with yet. This is Deadeye's alpha variant. Jesus Christ, does it look cool. But get this, his gun is now sort of dual purpose. It's also a machine gun and shotgun on a switch out in real time. It's just so amazing. And he feels a little bit more dangerous with that grenade giving more of, I think, of an AoE impact and some other sort of special vision when it comes to holding down that trigger before releasing that already OP grenade over on the standard edition. Bandit's differences are not too obvious. The fire that you put on the ground seems to have a sort of area effect as well, giving more impact and more of a push back on the enemies, but there's not like a double jump or any changes to his specials on a major level. But this is very cool to see variant alpha suits actually handle and have different base weapon builds. I can't test this out on the module front yet because I don't actually have the suits unlocked, but it looks like there's a hell of a lot of choice there. I also think there's a certain someone within Capcom that designed this alpha mode that may be missing one of the best cover-based third-person shooters on the market. Vanquish review in description.
Well, we meet again, huh, guys?
Forgot to put the original Japanese dialogue option on and was greeted with a lovely Australian accent. Nothing says sci-fi more to me than an Antipodean accent. Defo fits with this scene.
Reunion of ours has some major potential.
Proceeding to next.
Okay, there's a couple of things happening with my game at the moment. First of all, I'm up to like 6-7 on stage, so I'm getting introduced to new dinos, explosive raptors, and things are just happening all over the shop that I haven't seen before, so a lot of that doesn't lean towards this patch. I am, however, still getting minor freezes here and there. It's not game breaking, it's not too disturbing, but it does happen.
Summon on sniper and light source. Summon on super.
This game never really suffers too badly from performance issues. I'm running it at 1080 on a GTX 1660 and I've got most of the sliders up. It sticks at 60 frames per second. It is one hell of a looker considering what's going on screen, but there hasn't or didn't really need to be any major performance patches, but I still would like to see that smoothed out a bit more. A lot of it may be due to me having seriously weak internet, and I'm looking forward to you guys giving me some feedback on that front.
Data collection complete. Guess you might want a hand, right?
What is it that I like about this game so much? Well, it's from Capcom, and you can tell the quality is everywhere. It also has a sort of remnant of Monster Hunter with different builds doing loads of different things. Stuff like close quarters and specials lifting dinos up, and there's freeze. You can even set fire on the floor, so everyone's utilizing their specials to the maximum to make sure they get through the stage at high speed. This is the key word here. It's not about impressive stats or saving someone. It's about getting those dinosaurs eradicated prior to the other team, which is doing precisely what you are in a parallel game. And then the cherry right at the end, you get a PvP mode, you get your Overwatch fix, and you still get to ride dinos or become an actual dino like in Rise, but you take it to the other team and cause complete mayhem. It's also got a very strange story mode that's heavily embedded in its online model. So what will happen is you'll just keep doing levels and you'll work your way towards a cutscene. They use cutscenes as a sort of benchmark incentive. So I'm now getting to some very interesting things, and we're coming up to almost like a world boss, a huge dino that's going to be a finale for this particular chunk of game. Talking of the different dino types, I'm super satisfied. There's these explosive raptors, and I'm seeing some sniper almost range-like creatures. It's pretty cool, and the purple variants on some of the T-Rexes and Carnos really keeps you on your toes. The randomization and reroll system is almost on a roguelike level. This game never churns out the same set of scenarios twice. It's pretty impressive.
The enemy team has destroyed.
What isn't too impressive, however, is my command of the keyboard and mouse when it comes to a third-person shooter. I kind of don't mind it on an FPS, and I was there for stuff like Unreal, as mentioned in the recent Quake co-op review. The keyboard and mouse was where everybody started with this sort of thing. I'm looking into Apex at the moment, and you look at competitive gameplay, or you talk to anybody that plays an FPS on a high competitive level, and you will always see them go to keyboard and mouse. Now, this is my theory on it, and this is also some of the flaws that I feel I've found in using that set of controls. You can position that cursor quicker than someone with a pad. However, your feet position, or the position of yourself, particularly in a third-person game like this, I don't feel is as easily maneuvered as someone who's over familiar with his two analog sticks. Cross-platform is fast becoming a very popular thing, and if you're playing against PC owners or people on that set of controls against the pad, there's an automatic, oh, we're gonna lose. But if you charge the individual, don't let them give you any range whatsoever and start making them feel uncomfortable on a close quarters level, I guarantee you'll have a better chance of winning. That is one of my Couch Cube top tips. Also, there's a new finale game mode. It may just be new to my rank, but it was to do with moving a hammer and a percentage. It's very cool. It takes a bit of time. You have to coordinate, communicate, and concentrate to get this damned hammer further towards or away from a beacon, and of course there's an equivalent beacon on the other player's finale section. That escort the cube stuff was so similar to Overwatch, right? So it's really cool to see some new stuff injected in just to give a bit more spice on that, on what you're going to get when it comes to that PvP finale.
Escort progress 20%. The enemy data key has progressed 20%.
Have any new environments or major maps been rolled in on the front end of games? And no, not really. You still got those standard locations. I want to see a little bit more on that front, but no real complaints because this game rolled out on Game Pass, and this is super important. I don't feel it's worth its retail cost, particularly on like the current gen systems. I think it's like 45 quid or 50 pounds. This is definitely worth accessing on a subscription service, and I only hope the Sony side sees something more financially viable come through. Maybe it will make it onto PSN, and it should have a discount on Steam as well. It also has one of the more laborious and redundant loot opening scenes or cutscene. They need to just sort that out, make that a bit more interesting. But immediately I'm seeing cooler stuff in my war chest, getting amazing skins on characters I never play with. I think they work that on an algorithm, i.e. give all the rare loot to their least played character to force you into walking around in the new skin you've unlocked. I am very happy with this completely free and content-rich update for Exoprimal, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing loads more. I haven't actually clapped eyes on the official roadmap, but this game can only get better and better as far as I'm concerned. The original base model was strong enough to give you hours and hours of amusement. I also clean forgot to mention Standard Bandit's new shield. You saw it come up there. It's got quite a low cooldown on it, and it's basically can take one whack from a big dinosaur or just stop you taking huge range from some of these new flyers that we've been introduced to. I will be playing Exoprimal on a regular basis as long as it sits on Game Pass, and I'll keep pushing out content. If I see substantial updates come in, I'll put something together and inform you guys of what's changed, because this is a healthy little Capcom game. I just am annoyed that we don't get to experience some single player offline content, but the very nature of this game model does really revolve around that excellent PvP at the end of missions. I've actually just taken a call from one of my channel's founders, a young gentleman called Nick, and he's just politely informed me that it's Exoprimal. I'll stick with the Xeno for the time being, gives that morph aspect. I have been Couch Coup, and I will of course see you down there.